This is KGW News at noon.
A tunnel collapsed at the Hanford nuclear reservation. Hundreds of workers evacuated or took cover indoors. Hello, everyone. I'm Brenda Braxton. No workers were in that tunnel, but at this point, authorities are saying they have not detected any radiation above ground. The Hanford nuclear site is a mostly decommissioned nuclear production complex near Richland, Washington. The U.S. Department of Energy declared an emergency just before 8:30 a.m. The site is full of highly contaminated materials like hot radioactive trains that transport fuel rods. The tunnel connects to a plutonium-uranium extraction building. A 20 by 20 foot section of soil collapsed. Crews are now using robots to figure out if there's any air contamination. So as this situation develops, we will post updates on KGW.com and to our KGW Facebook and Twitter pages. Another top story developing out of Washington this noon. The mayor of Seattle just announced he will not run for re-election. Mayor Ed Murray is dropping his bid. This comes after 4 men claimed Murray sexually abused them while they were teenagers. Murray denies that. He says the race needs to focus on the city's big issues like housing, the homeless crisis, and urban growth.
The mayor's race must be focused on these issues, not on a scandal, which it would be focused on if I were to remain in this race.
Mayor Murray was elected in 2013. He helped lead the effort to legalize same-sex marriage in Washington. We're learning more about what led to a murder in Clark County. According to court documents, it played out over a debt. KGW's Tim Gordon is live in Vancouver today. So, Tim, there are now 4 people under arrest for this.
That's right, Brenda. Yesterday at noon, we reported the arrest of a man and a woman. Now we can report the arrest of another pair, a man and a woman, who were arrested last night and in court here today. First up was 43-year-old John Michael West. He's charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and robbery. Prosecutors say he was involved in the shooting death of 34-year-old Raymond Brandon. Brandon's body was found in a shed on a property in Brush Prairie on April 27th. It was a week after the murder allegedly occurred. Also in court today, 23-year-old Ashley Weidman. She's charged with first-degree kidnapping for allegedly taking part in zip tying and holding the murder victim's girlfriend during the shooting. That woman was eventually released by her captors. A court paperwork says this was all over a debt the suspects felt that the murder victim owed them. They'd gone to take the car he was driving, and in the end, the 2 male suspects allegedly did the murder. Previously arrested in court yesterday, 39-year-old Neil Alway facing the murder and other charges, and 32-year-old Ashley Berry facing robbery and kidnap charges. The men with the murder charges both have bail set at $2 million. The women involved allegedly in this have 6-figure bail amounts set. All 4 will be back in court for arraignments on Thursday. Brenda, back to you.
Thank you, Tim. Police are looking for the person who stabbed a man in Old Town. It happened at the Pacific Tower Apartments on Northwest 4th Avenue around 10:30 last night. We don't have a description of the suspect yet. The victim is in the hospital recovering from injuries. Well, there's a new plan to improve our roads and bridges. Oregon lawmakers unveiled it yesterday. It would put about $5 billion into upgrading transportation. Here's some of what lawmakers want to tackle. Add a lane in each direction on I-5 between I-84 and I-405. Add a southbound and northbound lane to Highway 217. Widen the Abernathy Bridge and widen I-205 from West Lynn to Stafford. Tax money will pay for a lot of this. That includes a new payroll tax, a higher gas tax, title and registration fees, and a tax on new car and bicycle purchases. In fact, the plan means a 5% tax on all new bicycles for adults. KGW's Rachel Raffinelli is live in downtown Portland. So, Rachel, a lot of Portland cyclists, I can imagine, are not very happy about this.
That's right, Brenda. They say this is 5% too much. They say a really big part of this plan involves fixing the major roads like 405 down there. And they argue it has very little to do with bikes.
kind of anti-sales tax in general, more of an income tax person.
I already have to pay enough taxes. I don't think they should tax bicyclists. No, don't agree with that at all.
Cyclists sound off on the plan that would make them pay an extra 5% every time they buy a new bike. That money would become a part of the proposed $5 billion transportation plan. Lawmakers say with more than 100 people moving here every day, everyone should contribute.
Everywhere we went, people said bicyclists need to pay a share. They need to be in the game. It's sobering for everybody to see what will it take in order to get Oregon's transportation system back on track.
It's clearly a political move.
Jonathan Moss is the editor and publisher of Bike Portland, a daily blog about transportation. He says he's not surprised lawmakers would consider taxing bikes, but says cyclists have little to gain from this.
It's not good policy. We, as a society, typically, we don't tax things that are not luxuries. We don't tax things that have no negative impact. I think it's really unfortunate that someone's going to have to walk into a bike shop if this bill passes like this and spend an extra $20, $30 on an entry-level bicycle just to do something that is such a great benefit for the state.
The plan would also add a 1% tax when you buy a new car. Lawmakers will meet again tomorrow to go over this proposal. Then, Brenda, they'll eventually hold public hearings so you, the taxpayer, can weigh in. We know a lot of people have a lot of very strong opinions about this. Back to you.
No doubt. Thank you, Rachel. And you can find a full outline of the proposal and how lawmakers plan to pay for it on KGW.com. Well, it's time to weigh in on Portland Public Schools' budget. There is one last listening session. It's tonight at the Blanchard Education Service Center on North Dixon Street. It's from 5 to 6 o'clock, and speakers get 2 minutes to say their piece. Interim Superintendent Bob McKean says the district needs to cut $23 million from its budget. The district plans to cut dozens of teachers and some administrators. You can expect a final vote coming up next month. The historic Columbia River Highway is closed below Rowena Loop between the Dalles and Hood River. It's because of that landslide. Crews say this happened on Sunday. They're still trying to figure out how bad it is. No word when it'll reopen. I know you'll like this. Take a look at that blue sky and sunshine. Just a picture-perfect day. Rod, what can we expect for the rest of the afternoon? Please say more of the same.
Does this look like it could change?
I hope not.
Of course, we live in the Northwest, and the answer is always yes. But not today, ladies and gentlemen, not today. Here's our live shot at Cannon Beach, 53 degrees. Notice the winds are nice and calm, and that is right there at the beach. Here's a wider vantage point up on the hill by the Astor Column in Astoria. A little bit of high cloudiness, but still a mostly sunny day, a little bit warmer up north there, 59 degrees with a northwest breeze at 7 miles per hour. We projected 64 degrees at noon, and we are right there, dead even. Winds are calm, beautiful clear skies, and this is going to be a glorious day. Yesterday it was 72. Today will be about 76 at 4. I think we have a chance to go as high as 77. We'll still be 70 for your evening plans, maybe a barbecue tonight at 8 p.m. Now, our weather's about to change. Not really tomorrow, but I just want to touch on this. Sunday's headline, Mother's Day, nearly a cool record. We'll stare at this graphic in more detail and talk about when this cooler weather pattern comes back to us, and that's straight ahead, Brenda.
Stare at it, maybe a little frown, not too sure.
Get out.
In South Korea, a new president-elect is claiming victory. The liberal presidential candidate Moon Jae-in is celebrating. An official count not expected until tomorrow, but he is leading by a wide margin. He'll succeed South Korea's ousted president. The win ends a decade of conservative rule, and it could mean changes for South Korea's policies toward nuclear-armed North Korea. Moon promotes engagement with the North. Former President Obama is talking food and climate change in Italy. He spoke at the Global Food Innovation Summit in Milan. It's a conference talking about how climate change affects the availability of food.
Our changing climate is already making it more difficult to produce food. We've already seen shrinking yields and spiking food prices that, in some cases, are leading to political instability.
The former president focused his speech on the work he did to fight climate change. This all comes as speculation intensifies that President Trump will pull out of the Paris Agreement, which makes countries reduce their greenhouse gas emissions.